What's up, guys? I'm Mike. Welcome back to We Watch the Movie. This is the true story of the Ed and Lorraine Warren depicted in the Conjuring films. One of them out now, which we'll have a review up for soon. So make sure you check that out. Who the movies depict as just God-fearing people whose love for each other is just so strong that it can come any evil, not only in their house, but in your house too, for a quick payment of $19.95. That's the type of people that they really were in real life. And we'll get to how they preyed on the poor and they preyed on the mentally ill and all of those things. But even worse, we'll get to what they did to this poor 15-year-old girl named Penny. So this is not an indictment of anybody who's made these movies, although you could argue that it's kind of weird to gas up these, in my opinion, awful people as some just amazing, life-saving Ghostbusters whose love was so amazing that they had to keep a 15-year-old girl in the house for Ed to have sex with. Self-taught, by the way, demonologist, Ed Warren. Don't need nobody to teach me, I can teach myself. Self-taught demonologist. And Lorraine Warren, who was just born with the ability of being a medium. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's bullshit. I don't know. But they get together, they get married. They still haven't gotten famous off their exploits yet. So Ed is driving a bus in his mid-30s, a city bus driver who meets a 15-year-old girl named Penny and starts a sexual relationship with her. But what's worse is that Lorraine knows about the sexual relationship. They invited the girl to come and live with them in their house for upwards of 40 years afterwards. This 15-year-old girl had a sexual relationship with her husband. He would sleep with her one night, sleep with Penny the other night. Now, even back then, sleeping with a 15-year-old as a mid-30s person is not only disgusting, but it's illegal. But back then, what they did was they arrested Penny instead, in which she wouldn't sign a paper admitting to what had happened. She was court-ordered to appear at a youth delinquent office. And you know who would take her there? Who would pick her up from school? Because again, 15 years old, Ed. Ed would pick her up and take her. That's nice of him, you know? He literally got a 15-year-old arrested for having sex with her and let her take the fall for it. But by God, he gave her rides there. And it gets worse. Penny also says that Ed would hit Lorraine. The two that just, oh my God, I love you so much. I love you so much, it'll break this dull spell, Lorraine. He used to hit her. Even worse, Penny becomes pregnant. Now, as she's in her 30s now, by the time she's become pregnant, because this sick shit has been going on for this long, but when she becomes pregnant, what do? Lorraine went to her and asked her to abort the baby. These super religious people. Hey, you know what? If you don't see the ghosts, you just aren't religious enough. That's the problem. That's why you can't see the ghosts that aren't in this picture. Lorraine told her to get an abortion, but not only that, she told her to tell everyone. Because, by the way, what the story they've been telling their friends and family and people who had come over about, why is this 15-year-old girl in your house? They told her that she was just a poor girl that they were taking care of, a niece that they had taken in. And when she was pregnant with Ed's baby, they asked her to get an abortion and asked her to tell everyone that someone had broken into her apartment and raped her. She finally put her foot down and refused to do this. And they weren't happy about it. But when she did take her to get the abortion, they dropped her off. So nice of them. Again, just wonderful about giving rides. I mean, you got to give them credit. We should make a movie about what wonderful ride givers these fuckers were. They gave her a ride to get her abortion, picked her up, took her home, booted her out of the car after the abortion, and went on and did a lecture somewhere and left her home alone in the house. Penny would go on to claim that Lorraine's God specifically was money. And that's what they were worried about, and why she wanted her to tell people that she'd been raped, because they were worried what it would do for their book sales. Do you know what that'll do for my book sales? Penny also said, which something you'll hear a lot in these stories, that Ed once recruited her to help him make a video of the lady in white ghost at a cemetery, to which she wore a fucking ghost sheet to help him create, because he wanted people to know what it would have looked like if it was captured on camera. And if that's not enough for you, these testimonies and whatnot aren't enough for you, and multiple people saying these things, Lorraine, later on, it was found that in her Conjuring contract, which she made a buttload of money from, no doubt, they both did, and their Conjuring contract for being consultants, she had specific language in the contract that talent attorney Jill Smith said she's never seen in her life be in someone's contract that specific before. And the language was this: The films could not show her or her husband engaging in crimes, including sex with minors. Weird to have to put that in there to begin with. Child pornography, prostitution, or sexual assault. Also, by the way, don't show me eating too many cookies, because I do love cookies, and that's not something I want to share with the world. Also, neither the husband nor wife could be depicted as participating in an extramarital sexual relationship. That's specific. And if you're wondering what kind of parents they were, because they had their own child, while it's one that they didn't make someone get aborted with the story that they were raped. When they had their own child, the child didn't even live with them, by the way. The child lived with Lorraine's mom. They were too busy with their 15-year-old. So if that's not enough for you, and it probably should be to know what kind of people these people are, go through every single case. You will find a pattern. The Amityville story, or the Enfield poltergeist, or the Snedeker family, or the Smurl family that this new movie's about. Every single time you will find lie after lie after lie. Over and over again, skeptics would investigate them. They would let them come over to their library of fucking Annabelle shit and everything that they charge $13 for people to walk through. And every single time, these people would earnestly sit down with them and try to figure out what proof of these things Ed swore he had. And every single time, he would show them nothing. The most he could ever conjure was pictures of orbs on him that have been proven over and over again could be manipulated. He would promise that he had stuff that was just too haunted to show, but you never ever got any factual evidence from him other than sounds of scratching and knocking and pictures of orbs, which everyone can get if you take a picture in the right situation. Not only that, but they would show up, someone would be haunted, or someone would be pretending to be haunted because they were behind on their rent, as many people found out in some of these cases. They would show up on set, they would walk in the house, Lorraine would do her, "Oh my, it's the most haunted thing. I can't take it, Ed. It's too much." And Ed, as a self-trained demonologist, would be like, "This is the most haunted fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Are you serious? That kid's possessed right there. He just threw up his Cheerios." And they would do this to these people. They would gas them up, and then they would undeniably bring up a book deal. They would promise to make the family money. Some priests would show up. A lot of times they could never tell you who the priest is. They never got a priest on record.
How about a name? Just one name.
Father A is the name I give you.
Most of the times when the priests were found and interviewed, they said they never saw anything and that nothing happened. But they would make up a story about a priest coming over, something like that, the house being cleared after some crazy stuff going on.
I don't have to
Give a name, a full name.
I
Give
can
you a
prove.
name. These are secret things.
And in the end of the day, a book deal would be there for everyone to make a lot of money on which the Warrens always made the most off of. They promised one family they'd be rich off the book that was written. The family made $4,500 and they took home around $81K. This is what happened. Multiple lawsuits, multiple people after the fact saying that they were taken advantage of. Nobody listens anymore because a good ghost story will get you going. It's almost every time. The Enfield poltergeist, they weren't even the ones investigating it with. They showed up uninvited, unannounced, and started promising the family that they would make money. And then were barely there at all, got the whole Conjuring 2 out of it, got the book out of it, all that stuff. We're barely even there. Not to mention the fact that that entire case was debunked when they found out that the girls, the kids there, were making up all this stuff and tricking people. In the case of the Amityville thing, you've later found out after all of this that the lawyer admitted the entire thing was made up over a couple bottles of wine one night. There is multiple occasions of people, the writers of the book, when it comes to the Snedeker family thing. The writer of the book said that Ed specifically came up to him and said, "I know that none of these people's stories is connecting, none of this stuff makes sense, but listen, you're a fiction writer, right? Just make it scary. Take what you got and then just add stuff on it and just make it scary." But even worse off is the way that they preyed on people's mental issues. There's several different cases of Ed and Lorraine Warren telling people they were haunted and that these things were the reasons that their family was broken and things were wrong with them. And multiple times it would turn out it was just a mental issue. In the case of the Snedeker family, they found out that it was the boy was schizophrenic and that he was taking drugs that were messing with him and that were making him hallucinate. The kids that they said were getting groped by ghosts in the middle of the night. It came out that the boy was the one that was doing it. And by the way, when it comes to the Snedeker situation, once the guy started taking medicine for his schizophrenia, it's amazing. The entities went away. And even in the latest case, the Smurl haunting that this new movie is about, same thing. They showed up to a haunted house. Ed makes up not even a good horror story, but a corny ass, just paint by numbers horror story about how he went in and saw dark masses and the ghost wrote, "Go away" in the mirror. I mean, shit a 5-year-old can make up. Ed makes it up. He says that happened. And then at the end of the day, you've got somebody who comes in and investigates it. Professor Paul Kurtz of State University of New York, who says that it's all a hoax, a charade, a ghost story, that the Warrens weren't objective, independent, or impartial investigators. He recommended the family submit themselves to psychiatric examinations. Lo and behold, it comes out that Jack Smurl once had to have water removed from his brain in 1983 because he'd been experiencing short-term memory loss due to a case of meningitis in his youth. He says that people often look at demonology to explain many tensions that they experience as individuals and with their families, and people like the Warrens are always there to pick up the nickels off the floor while they're saying that they're helping them, when really, most of the time, if not every single time, there's a plausible explanation for these things that could actually help these people. And if you're wondering if they asked for a book to be written, you're right, Gene. And in this case, by 1986, the Smurls told the press that they were tired of the constant media bombardment. But by the way, their new book, co-authored by Ed and Lorraine Warren, as well as Scranton newspaper writer Robert Curran, would be out very soon, titled The Haunted, published by St. Martin's Press. And again, someone else moved in the house afterward, said shit never happened. They'll take the families as far as they're willing to go. Case in point, this Sally Jesse Raphael story with the Snedeker family. They had these fucking people in a bed recreating the man's sodomy by a ghost.
It had gone away. There was no more sensation. I was just sodomized by this demon.
And Lorraine are specifically there. They actually took this in The Conjuring 2 and tried to make it this big heroic moment for Ed, when he literally tries to intimidate physically and just yell over anybody who dismisses his claims or asks him for evidence. Here's a skeptic talking to him, and watch how he handles it.
It's
my turn.
You made a statement.
I've heard that you were
You
allowed
have a
now to
statement.
He doesn't even let him speak.
shouted people down. Just give me my chance
No,
to
I
talk.
won't give you a chance.
You did that to me.
It's actually funny to watch.
I'm not going to give class to somebody who's sitting here. You'll have nothing but lying.
So there you have it. That's my opinion of the true story of the people we're watching. Not only people who did what they did to this 15-year-old girl and throughout the rest of her life, but what they did to people who were in need, who needed help, and the way they lied to everyone around when they would come in contact with someone who wanted to squeeze as much money out of a story as even they did.
Nobody ever proved that.
Concocted over
Nobody
several
ever
bottles
proved
of
it.
wine.
Can
The
you prove
evidence.
it?
These are terrible people, in my opinion. And I just felt the need to put that information out there just in case anybody doesn't know it. All this information's available. You can do deep dives on all these things. It would have been an hour-and-a-half video to really go into it, but it's all there. And that is the truth, in my opinion, about Ed and Lorraine Warren.
No,
The whole
no way.
packaging of this story. The book says it's for.
I love your all's faces. Thanks for watching this. If you like this video and you want more, please click likes. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so that you get notified when we make more videos. I love your all's faces. Look forward to that Conjuring 4 review soon. Hopefully, I don't have high hopes. We'll see.
The book says it's